Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. I know it's been a little bit of a break on the channel here for me. I disappeared for about a week or so. I streamed before this video will be uploaded, but that is because this is my fourth take at recording this video. I recorded it this morning, and the first version, I recorded the whole thing, forgot to turn my microphone on. So, that happens. And then, I went to go record it again, and I had background music that was too loud. So, this time, there's no editing, no background music. I'm not even filming this from my PC. You may notice the location's different, even though the audio and the video sound the same. I moved my whole setup over to my laptop so I could film in my bed. Nice and cozy, a different vibe for a different video. So, like I said, sorry, I'm just moving my mic a little closer. Like I said, I have tried to record this video 4 times now. And the third time that I recorded it, it actually went pretty well. It went all the way through, and then I uploaded it, and then I went about my day, and I had a really interesting day as far as days go, especially comparative to how I was feeling last night and this morning. So I took the video that I uploaded this morning down because I was in a bad headspace, and I really didn't like the way I phrased certain things that were very important to me. These are ideas that I want to share, and then especially this video is mainly for me in the future, to remember what's important. So on my birthday was February 6th. I turned 21, and I was very, very excited to turn 21. On my birthday, I decided to break a couple of my personal rules. Just for the sake of, my own not wanting to be too open, and then on top of YouTube doesn't like certain topics. But I'm not going to talk about any specifics. But I broke a few of my personal rules on my birthday. And it spiraled really quick. It was supposed to just be, break a couple rules on my birthday, and then, tomorrow get back to being serious. Because I was doing really well in life. I was doing really well. But we'll get back to that. And so on my birthday, I let go. I slipped. But it was okay because it was just temporary. And it was a lot of fun. And I had a good time. But then I woke up the next morning. And like I said, I was doing really well. Why that's important is because for like a week or two before my birthday, I was doing really, really well in life. My parents came to visit for Christmas, and so that really helped propel me into a better mind state. And all throughout January, I was finally starting to feel like I was a person again. I was finally starting to feel like I was able to do the things that mattered to me, that I was able to spend my time in a way that I didn't feel regret or shame over. And those are all things that I've wanted for a really long time. And then the thing on my birthday happened, and like 2 days before my birthday, I had a moment of backsliding right when I woke up, and I yelled at my mom. And I always feel very guilty when I yell at my mom because she loves me more than anyone in the world. So I was feeling guilty from that, and then I was feeling the stress of having to be 21. And then I was feeling the stress of the fact that I need more money. And it was so much stress, and then all of that combined with, I went from feeling so good all day, every day, like so good. I was barely smoking. When I lay down in bed at night, I was smiling so hard my face would cramp. I just was in this era of warmth because I was doing all the right things. But when I woke up, the 7th, the day after my birthday, the gaping hole was back. And honestly, it hadn't been that bad or that heavy in a long time. And it was caused by me breaking those personal rules and slipping back into past addictions. Um, they're rules for a reason, and they wouldn't be made if they weren't for my own benefit to follow, because they're personal rules. And I need to really understand that. But yeah, I backslid, and then I had this horrible feeling, and I just felt so bad and guilty and shameful. And so instead of doing what I should have done, what I would normally do, is I probably would have had another day of going crazy. I probably would have went crazy that next day. But then right about that third day, at least in the past, that like it would kick in my brain. Because something just flipped when I woke up that next morning after my birthday. I went full blown mania. Like I could barely form a thought, and all the ones I could form I hated, and I just wanted to run away from. And I had that memory fresh in my mind from the night before of those things I told myself I'd never do good and how good they felt. And so I just let go. And if I'm being honest, for the next, like at this part of the story, for the next 4 or 5 days, I have maybe like 10, 20 memories, maybe. I really don't remember much of anything, which, is understandable because I was abusing my brain and body. And it slipped out of control. And usually, like I was just saying, around that third day, that voice in my head would come in and stop me. It would be like, hey, buddy, this isn't right. This isn't what's good for you. This isn't going to lead to you being happy. Let's calm down, take a breath, go back to normal. And then I'd feel shame, I'd feel guilty, but, I'd go back to normal. But one thing I hadn't realized, which I now know, and it's good I know, is I'm on medication. I got on medication about 3 months ago, Wellbutrin SR, and it has changed my life. I used to be such an asshole, and I used to just be so grouchy and angry and sad, and like all of my thoughts were horrible and pessimistic, and like honestly, not sound too crazy or anything, but it was like this like symphony of like angry voices yelling all the time, louder and louder, influencing my thoughts. And ever since I got on this medication, after the couple weeks I started taking it, those voices went away. The chaos, the chorus of screaming, of fucking negativity and sadness, it's gone. For the most part, as long as I remember to take my medication, remember to eat, and remember to drink water. If I slip on any three of those things, it comes back. I have to keep them in balance. But as it turns out, something I wasn't aware of is that it gets rid of that voice too. The one that brings me back from being crazy. The one that keeps me level. The one that reminds me who I am. And so I'm not saying I'm going to stop taking the medication, because the good benefits way outweigh the bad. I just have to learn how to make this voice, the main one in my head, the voice of reason, and the voice of being who I want to be. But I was going crazy, and then I had this moment last night where I was just looking at myself in the mirror, all messed up on all different things. And I was just looking at myself in the mirror, and I had this moment where I like almost saw myself as a kid. Like just who I was when I was a kid, like 8, 9 years old. I'm staring in the mirror, and like I almost started to cry. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, what am I doing? I just put myself back in this physical hole of pain that I'm gonna have to spend the next week crawling out of, and the next the next month and a half hole of mental pain. And I knew that I got caught in this cycle. I get caught in this cycle with every hard drug I do, but for me that includes alcohol. Alcohol is real bad with it, but for every substance I do that isn't a medicine. This is coming later at the end of the video. Stick around. But all the ones that's not a medicine, I get stuck in this cycle where I do it because I think it'll feel good, and then while I'm doing it, it does feel good. But then I wake up the next day and I feel terrible because I don't feel good from the thing anymore. and I feel so terrible that I know I could just wait a day, two, three, and be back to normal. But I feel so terrible that I, the only way I can possibly see out of it is to continue doing the thing I know is bad for me. Because once I start doing that thing again, no longer feel bad. I don't feel sick. I don't, none of it. It goes away in an instant. Which, I mean, is probably mostly psychological, but that's a little bit of a later part of the story. But over the course of this, over the last week, I did a lot of damage to my body. Like, it might have been one of the most physically destructive binges I've ever been on. It's a close runner with the binge I had in Florida, where I just drank like a 750 of vodka every day for like 20 days or something. My body was falling apart at the end of that, but luckily I caught myself way sooner this time. But, sorry, I forgot where I was in this story. But yeah, I messed up. That's basically the whole point of this whole video here. Is I messed up really bad, and I did a lot of physical damage to myself. And when I woke up this morning, I was freaking out because I was just showered in shame and guilt, and it was like this heavy, giant, like steel brick crushing me. And I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't fucking... But also, a lot of the damage I did to my body physically was, to my lungs and my respiratory area, my lungs, my throat. And so I was really panicking, especially because when I first woke up, I couldn't breathe. I had this really bad pain right here. When I push, it still kind of hurts. And I couldn't breathe. Like, at all. It was like I couldn't catch my breath. I was freaking out. And I called one of my best friends, and he told me to go to the ER, which I never would have done in a million years. I don't go to the hospital. I don't like the hospital. I mean, I'd have to be like fucking bleeding or dying to go to the hospital. But you guys got to see that because I'm not editing this video. Usually I edit those out. That happens every video. So I've been dealing with this throat thing for 2 years. I believe it's vaping related. At least I have all this time. Where it's difficulty to swallow. And I never really made any correlation, but my friend made me go to the ER today. I went to the ER. I went in. I saw the doctor. I told him that I was concerned with certain things I was doing and how they may have affected my lungs, my throat, my body, my kidneys, all sorts of things. So he did an EKG. He ran all sorts of tests, did blood tests, all sorts of stuff. And after he ran all the tests and talked to me a little bit more, at the end of my ER visit, he told me that he believes that all of the really overwhelming symptoms I have today, and similar symptoms I've had in the past, and the swallow thing I've been dealing with for the last 2 years. I mean, I do believe some of it is vaping related. I think that's probably like the initial cause. But he believes it is a physical manifestation of an underlying untreated anxiety issue, which is really interesting. That's not something I ever considered when it came to the problems I have with my throat and my breathing. It's never a possibility I ever even considered. But he then gave me they gave me fluids because I was dehydrated from partying for a week straight. So they gave me IV fluids, and they gave me a little thing of like a tramadol or something. I don't know if that's actually it, but it's some mild anti-anxiety med. And this was before he told me he thought it was an anxiety thing. But when he gave me that, I didn't realize it. But within 30 minutes of that calming me down, I could swallow again. My breaths were starting to get deeper. I wasn't shaking so much. And when he first told, when I got to the end of the visit and he first told me that that's what he thinks it is, I got very upset. I really did. I got upset. Because doctors are expensive, and I don't have a car, so getting there I have to ask people for rides, and it's like, it's a whole thing to go to the fucking doctor, and then I fucking do this whole thing where I'm probably gonna have to pay money eventually, and then sit there for like 2 hours, and then he's just like, oh, it's in your head, and so I was I was super mad. I was like, I don't want. I don't want it to be in my head. I don't want you to give me a pill. I want you to look at my throat and then fix it. Because it's been bugging me for like almost 3 years now. But then I left, and I was still kind of freaking out. But then my friend picked me up, and we hung out, got some fresh air. We got some delicious, tasty food, hung out, made some plans for future jobs and stuff, try to get things calmed down. We had a little smoke, and I was just hanging out, and I realized that once I had some food and some water, and I was hanging out with friends and not being anxious, my breathing was perfectly fine. My throat was fine. And I realized in that moment that it's possible, perhaps, that the doctor was right. It's very possible. It is just an anxiety thing. So I don't really know exactly how to feel about that. On one hand, it's like, okay, so I've been torturing myself for 2 years when I could have just stopped. But on the other hand, that's not really how anxiety disorders work, I guess. I think I need some help and some therapy to stop. But I don't know. Guess I'm kind of open-minded. It's kind of cool that it's not like something physical I got to get surgery to fix. It's just, I just got to figure out how to stop being so anxious about it in my mind. But I also do think I need to take some time off from smoking things. I started getting into cigarettes. I vape. I smoke marijuana, of course. And then, other things occasionally. But, yeah, the point of this video, I've been ranting on for twice as long here as I did with any of the other ones I've recorded before this, and I'm very grateful, because I really do have a much better perspective on it all after today than I did this morning. But my overall message to anyone watching this video is, I messed up. I messed up really bad. And at the beginning of today, I thought it was over. I thought there was no way I could pull myself back from this situation. I thought there was no. I had finally dug myself into a hole I couldn't get out of, I thought. But with some good people and a positive attitude, everything's gonna be okay. And the thing is, it might not feel that way, and I can't speak for all situations, but the one I'm specifically talking about here is the relapse, the idea of relapse, of sliding back into habits that you don't even like. You know it's bad for you. You barely get any real enjoyment out of it. It just makes you feel bad. But there's something about our brains, people like you and me, where sometimes it just happens in an instant. But I want to tell you that it's okay. It is okay. And by me saying it's okay, that doesn't mean what you did was okay. What you did was bad. It was bad. You did a bad thing, and that's okay. People do bad things all the time. I mean, if you look at just the top 1,000 world's richest people, they've done more bad things in the last 20 minutes than you've done your whole life. But it's difficult, because I do want to say it's okay, because it is okay. You can't beat yourself up. You can't keep yourself in the hole just because you feel bad about putting yourself there in the first place. You can't. But you also have to understand that what you did was wrong, and it was fucked up, and you hurt someone important when you did it. But people outside of circles, they like to talk about, oh, your drug use affects me in the following ways. Who gives a fuck how your drug use affects them? What matters is how your drug use affects you. The reality is if at one point in time you decided to stop doing something that made you feel good because you understood that in the long term you'll feel better, then you want to get better. and wanting to get better is the first step. So take accountability for your actions. Understand the things you did were wrong. But more importantly than that, understand that the things you did are done. They've already happened. It's done already. And there's no point in beating yourself up about it, you know? It's like you can't go kill Bin Laden again. just as an example. You can't build the Eiffel Tower again. It's done. It's done. And good or bad, it's done. And so you have to just accept it. And the hardest part of that is accepting how you feel about it. But that becomes a lot easier when you realize that you control how you feel about it based on how you accept it and allow it to form your thoughts. Because when you try to ignore something and push it away, it grows bigger, more powerful, and then it eats you. But I've been all over the place in this video. I'm just ranting here. This has been way less structured than most of my videos, honestly, in terms of talking points, and definitely less structured than the first 3 versions of this I tried to make. But I wanted to get this video out before I went to sleep, because I didn't want these ideas that I'm talking about here to be bouncing around my head all night. Wanted to be able to get them out, upload it, and then it doesn't have to go around in my head anymore. I can focus on new thoughts. But yeah, to recap here, you know, it's okay. You are going to be okay. I promise. Everything's going to be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, then it's just not the end yet. And that's also okay. It means you just got to keep going. And you should be your best friend. You need to be your cheerleader. You need to be the person who forgives you. You need to be the person who opens their arms and welcomes you back with love no matter how many times you do bad things. You need to be that for yourself always. There will be people like that in life. But you need to be that first and foremost, because forgiveness of the self is where you eliminate guilt. And of course, I'm still working on that. Eliminating guilt is a very challenging thing for me. But yeah, let me see. Any other talking points here before I move on to the second half of this video? Talking points. Yes. This whole thing was a really big turning point for me. Because I went so crazy with all of the going crazy. So crazy I had to go to the hospital because me and my friends thought I was dying. And I get to the hospital, you know, and he tells me that it's a anxiety thing, and you know, it's all just so interesting. But really, one thing I've learned throughout this whole ordeal is that this is gonna be my last fucking one of these ever. There's like a couple things in life I know that work really well for me when it comes to you know, elevating from sober. You know, this works perfectly for me. This makes me a good person. It makes me happy. It makes me helpful. It makes me kind. When it comes to being like creative and engaged, it's massively beneficial in that. It helps me build good relationships with people. I can name so many good things this does for my life. There's also some bad things too. It's not good for my lungs. Like, the real shit is not that bad. But this fake shit I'm smoking, definitely bad for your lungs. It's probably not great for my brain. It's good to have your brain have some time to, you know, develop and do normal things outside of being high. But I'm a better person under the influence of this one. Or like mushrooms. Mushrooms gave me empathy. I know it sounds crazy, especially to you regular people, but I was born without it. Or maybe I was born with it, but I just lost it because the first like 5-ish years of my childhood were real crazy. So maybe I just lost empathy. But mushrooms gave it back to me on my 19th birthday. And that alone has allowed me to become a way better person than I honestly hoped I would ever be able to be. Acid, I'm kind of on the fence about that one, because acid showed me what the world is, and I wish I never knew. I just want to go back to not knowing, but you can't. Once you know, you know. That's forever. Um, and then, last and least, I do think eventually, once I spend some time just being a person and I have a more adult life built for myself, I do think eventually I'll be able to build and maintain a healthy relationship with alcohol. Because I was just going through a real crazy phase where I was like, oh, I love alcohol. Alcohol's so great. And then, for the last month or so, I've been going through a phase where I'm like, I hate alcohol. Alcohol's the worst. I never want to touch it again. But the reality is it totally has benefits. Not nearly as many as this. And I think I said it in another video, is that I can't remember one positive thing alcohol has ever done for me. That's not entirely true. There's been times where you go to a party and you have 1 or 2 drinks. That's a good time. It's a social lubricant. It kind of oils up conversation. But 1 to 2 drinks is enough to make you say anything you wish you didn't. I think eventually I'll be able to get there with alcohol, but that's far down the road. Probably when I'm 23, 24 or something. And honestly, my least favorite effect from the whole thing that I just put myself through is my brain is zapped, dude. It hurts. I'm so tired all the time. I can barely focus on anything. I'm foggy. And what it is for those 6 days, I ate maybe once every 30 hours. I drank a tenth of the water I normally do. I think I showered 1 time before a job interview. Did I already say I wasn't fucking eating anything? I wasn't going outside. I wasn't fucking getting sunlight. I wasn't even playing games. I wasn't recording videos. I was just fucking sitting in the dark, doing bad things until there were no more bad things to do, and then leaving to go get more. It's bad. It's a bad cycle, and I'm not happy with it. And because of that, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to be the person I always want to be, and that starts now. So I think sometimes bad things happen for a reason, but that doesn't mean they're not bad. And you just got to learn from them and not make that mistake again. Alrighty, well, I'll probably keep ranting on this topic because I'm having a lot of fun here. But we are going to segue into part 2 of this video. So, on the topic of being silly and doing things I regret in an order I don't like, because of breaking those personal rules on my birthday, I forgot to do this. So this is a cart I bought in January. I bought this one when I bought the other budget disposable cart. However many videos ago that was. I bought it at the same time because it was buy one get one half off. And I was gonna do a cart review on this on my birthday. It was like a plan. I was looking forward to it for weeks. And then I was stupid and I made wrong choice and I completely forgot. But just like things that are bad, you can make them right. So let's do a little cart review here at the end as a treat for sitting through my little rant about life. So what we got here is we got a budget 1 gram disposable vape. Ooh, and this one is Indica Wedding Cake. You can't really see it. That's the one downside to now that I film on the webcam instead of my phone. It doesn't focus as good, but the vibe is so much better. It looks so good. Just the nostalgic vibe of it, it really fits what I'm going for on my channel. But I have not been smoking very much. I smoked 2 bowls today, nothing at all yesterday, and 1 hit of a joint the day before. Other than that's it. Oh, I guess yesterday, at 3:30, I smoked some weed to help me break out of my mania. But I'm not. So, reason I say that is because I'm not going to be able to hit this nearly as fat as I usually do in my cart reviews. Or if I do, I probably will just get very stoned. But without further ado, let's bust it open and see what's good. And I took some sleep meds right before starting filming this video, and they're hitting real good. Ooh, okay, this smells way better than the other one. Way better than the other one. The lighting's not great, but it looks the same as the last one I did. It says budget right there. It has like a cool little light. Yeah. Oh, it smells so good. Oh, it smells like a fucking. Ooh, this smells like the fake carts I like to smoke. Because there's like fake carts I do smoke, and then there's fake carts that are close enough to real carts. But then these are the fake carts I like to smoke. I love the smell. All right, let's give it a little try here. Cheers. Ooh, that's tasty. A little harsh on the throat. Wow. That's good. For a second there, I forgot I wasn't editing this at all, so I was just sitting there for a second. Just so you know, that's a lot of what my cart reviews are, by the way. Is just me fucking hitting the cart, and then I'll cough, and then I'll just sit there in silence. Because I'm fucking ripped, and I'm trying to think of what to say next. I do have to say, I know it wasn't very long, but that like during that week, I like pretty much didn't smoke weed, and I have a lot more fun with it now. But also, like, if you're seeing this and you're saying, "Oh, I thought you said you were gonna do a 30-day tea break after your birthday." I was planning on it. I really was. But I also wasn't planning on slipping back into much, much worse addictions. Ones that'll destroy your life so quick if you don't catch it. Luckily, I caught it. But the problem is, I don't know if this works. I don't know if it works this way with everyone, but it certainly works this way with me. When I stop doing a drug, even if I only started doing it again for a short period of time, it takes a while before I'm able to not need it mentally anymore. And by need it, I don't need it. I never need it, but I want it real bad sometimes. And I found some. I'm cooking up ideas to try to help me get through it this time. Before, usually I just suffered and got sad. That's what I did before. But I went through it because for the sake of someone else. But this time it's for me. So I think I'm going to use the time I would be doing stupid things with, and all the other time that I used to just spend like on my phone or doing nothing. I'm gonna spend that time doing things I care about. I mean, there's a million billion games I want to play on my PC for you guys. A million, so many games, and I just gotta do it. I love making content. I have a whole bunch of content I recorded on my birthday, and I need to upload. And that'll be good. Uh, I wonder if the like reflux burp thing is also anxiety. Interesting. Uh, Man, I was going on a whole spiel. I forgot this cart got me schlepped. Let's take another one. Yeah, I've done things very similar to this in the past. The one in Florida was really, really bad. Really, really bad. The one in Florida was. Um, I've also done this at home, back when I lived with my parents a couple times. Um, I used to do it all the time when I was in school, but it had way less of an impact. It was just like, hey, don't do that. Doesn't teach you real consequences. But when you learn those real consequences, you learn them. I'll tell you what. But I think it's time I gotta wrap this up. It's like, holy, how did it get so late? Well, it's 3:11 in the morning somehow. Jesus Christ. I've been recording forever here, I guess. But it's time for me to go to bed. But let me just say, don't beat yourself up. I'm really working on that. Love yourself. Love yourself like you would love anyone else, but more, because you know the goods and the bads. But you should all try to look at other people like that too. Everybody is a complex human being and deserves forgiveness, love, and judgment, at least up to a point. Yeah, gonna be tons of content coming soon. Tons of content, because it's gonna be the only thing to keep my mind focused and try and getting back to who I want to be. But yeah, the reason I usually don't take 4 attempts to record just a simple video, but this video is really important to me because this is a turning point in my life. Usually when I come out of a binge such as this, out of a relapse, when I come out of it, I'm like, oh man, ugh, I'm only coming out of this because I have to. Ran out of money, I'm in trouble, whatever it is. But this time, it's just like I'm happy to be done with it. There's been this person in my head since I was like 14 who I always dreamt of being. And I'm really not that far off from that person. Just about 12 solid months of hard work and dedication to the things that matter to me. And I got all the time in the world. So, thank you guys. Remember to love yourself. I'll see you in the next one. No relapse is permanent. Everything is going to be okay, I promise. You're going to be okay. But that's where I've been for the last week. I'm back. Lots more content coming soon. I'm back to earth. I love you guys. See you in the next one. Take care. Make sure you're staying happy, staying healthy, and staying very, very hydrated. Gotta stay hydrated. Water is so important. I love you guys. See you in the next one.